Well, hey, this is Merv himself, and in this video I'm going to show you a secret two-step process to replace fuel injectors for about $150. I'll tell you the symptoms that led us to replace these, and at the end of the video we'll show you how much a repair shop would charge. So join our poll with your guess by clicking up here or leave a comment in the section below letting us know how much you think they quoted us. I'm wearing 6 pair of gloves, 14 pair of safety goggles, and some flesh-colored Kevlar to appease the legal department. DeMille's behind the camera. Let's get started. Merv Junior come over with the Jeep he bought for his girlfriend Petunia. He knew she needed help because she had the following symptoms: discharge problems, itching and tingling, unusual pus, cold sores around her.
Wait a minute.
Huh? What's that?
Those are her other symptoms.
You sure about that?
Here, go ahead, read it. Nobody's gonna notice.
Yeah, well, her fuel injector symptoms were starting issues, engine light, sluggish performance, horrible gas mileage, and sometimes Petunia's Jeep would stutter and buck like a belligerent bronco. Plus, Merv Jr. wanted to get her a romantic gift, so we got her 4 brand new fuel injectors, every woman's dream. So here's the secret 2-step process. Get a pencil and paper if you need it. Step 1, remove old fuel injectors. Step 2, install new fuel injectors. Plus, there's a couple of sub-steps in between, so let's get to it. It really took less than an hour, no kidding. First, we located and yanked the fuel pump relay because we don't need a gasoline shower squirting all over. A diagram tells you which relay that is. Then, Junior cranked the vehicle a few times to help relieve the pressure. Next, we disconnected the battery, negative terminal first, and plugged the fuel pump relay back in. You remember where she went, right? And be sure to check my other video for how I properly disconnect a car battery without killing myself. This throttle body linkage is going to be in the way when we try to pull on that fuel rail. We'll take out this right bolt and the left, and this will come off, just teeter back out of the way. By the way, you see what happens to the throttle when you step on the gas? I took over the shooting because DeMille was amazed.
Look at that.
Get out of my shot, DeMille. This is my camera now. So the throttle body linkage gets moved out of the way. Now, as part of our Himself family custom, Merv Jr. bought Petunia this beautiful cold air intake instead of a worthless diamond engagement ring. But it needs to come off too because it's in the way of removing the fuel rail. To take off the fuel line, these little gizmos come in handy. You just slip it around the line, and then the collar goes up into the fitting to release a little catch-up inside. If you need one, there's a link in the description below. Cheaper than cheap, and handy. Merv Jr. left his connected to take a shortcut. I wouldn't have done it, but it seemed to work fine for him. And what I gotta give him credit for is how he marked these electric connectors to remember the proper order. Simple solution was numbers on tape. 1, 2, 3, and, well, whatever. Putting those back on in the same order is important to make sure they fire in the proper sequence. We remove the bolts for the fuel injector rail, take off these electric harness connectors, and finally it's time to pull off the fuel rail. But first, Merv served tip number 17. Take a look at the position of things before you yank her out. See how there's a little gap between the neck of the fuel injector and where it seats down in? Because I'm telling you, any mortal will question themselves about that gap when reassembling this later, and knowing that it's normal will help ease your mind. Well, the rail's coming out now, but it's in there real tight. It's one of those things where you need to be powerful yet maintain control. Perhaps you can imagine other relationship scenarios like that. The clips hold the injectors in place. They need to come off. And out come the old injectors. Also, we keep a rag handy to sop up the excess fuel. Remember to get rid of your old O-rings and replace them with new ones. Then we just reverse the process. In go the new injectors. The clips hold them in place. Push the rail with the injectors back in. Yep, she's snug. Bolt the rail back on. Electrical connections in numerical order. Throttle body linkage. We cleaned out the throttle body tool while we had her open. More on how to do that in another video, by the way. It's a good idea. Cold air intake put in place. We reconnect the battery so we can start her up and see if she works.
You ever seen the Green Mile?
But first I made Junior push the Jeep out of the car barn.
Stop hogging the camera, DeMille.
Because I always try to remind the kid that I have no faith in him whatsoever. Keeps him humble. Junior turns the key to pressurize the system. Checks for leaks. Don't use a match or a lighter to do this, by the way. Or a lantern, that would be bad. Can't see any leaks, so we're good to turn her over. Now the moment of truth. There you go. I knew Junior could do it, and Petunia is gonna be thrilled.
Like a tiger.
And finally, we tighten everything up real good. So it cost Junior $152 for the new injectors. And how much would a local shop charge? $538. No, thank you. This is Merv saying keep it simple, and I'll see you next time. Merv's Service Secrets is an artificial recreation of an actual do-it-yourself show that never existed. Sure do hope you'll like and subscribe.